Right. Good morning and welcome to, Madam Charity is just going on and on. All right. All right. Good morning and welcome to our interview this Friday morning. I'm sure that you are waiting for it, as happens every Friday. We normally look at things that are different from the political menu. And today we want to look at an initiative that has captured the imagination of a lot of Kenyans, commenced by the First Lady, Margaret Kenyatta, called Beyond Zero. I'm sure we all remember the marathon she did in Nairobi and London. And the campaign is on and going to set up mobile clinics and improve maternal health care across the 47 counties of the country. Tomorrow, that campaign launches a major event in Nairobi. And in the studio to talk to us about it is somebody else, not the First Lady, whom we are hoping will join us one of these days. The Secretary for Lands, Honorable Charity Ngilu, is in the studio. Good morning.
Good morning, David.
We are going to talk about everything.
Yes, that's fine.
Yeah, you are here though first let's talk about the Beyond Zero campaign.
Yes.
You obviously are working closely with the First family, and you're here. You'll speak for her because she didn't come. How is the campaign going?
Well, first of all, I don't speak for her. Let me speak.
But today you'll speak for
Let
her.
me first of all speak as a Kenyan woman, and just to say how, for me, exciting it is that at long last we have a First Lady in this country who thought about how she can improve the lives of Kenyan women. In the past, we have seen everybody, ministers of health, and people just talking about the number of women in this country who die when they go to the facilities or when they're about to deliver a baby or when they are delivering a baby. And therefore, that remained statistics. Today, it is real that somebody is saying that women's life will not be the number of women who are dying. And she's taking action.
Right.
To take action, she has said that I'm going to ensure that every county has a moving mobile ambulance and clinic.
Right.
So that if you cannot get to the health facility in time, there is already a mobile clinic
That can come to your location.
exactly, which is equipped, very well equipped, and with also health workers, skilled health workers. Which means then we are soon going to see not just a number of women who have been losing their lives at the time of delivery due to pregnancy complications come down, but also eliminated. That's why she's calling it Beyond Zero. That no woman should die at the time when she's having a baby.
There are two issues that arise out of this. First of all, why did it have to involve the First Lady to see that? First of all, you used to be the Minister of Health. Two, where is she? You have the mobile clinics, yes. Where do you get the technical people, the staff, the staff to move them?
We have them. Ministry of Health has them, and they are going to be therefore working in the clinics. And remember, these are clinics that are going to be mobile, moving to take you, if there is a complication, to the next level. And the way it is equipped is that it can actually, you can be delivered inside that ambulance.
Right.
Where are the people coming from? Because we don't have enough nurses or doctors.
We do. Actually, the number of nurses in the country have been increased.
Yeah.
You also know that there is an increased budget now of health. So that is not going to be a big issue.
But maternal health, Ms. Ngilu, has been on the priority of the Jubilee manifesto. And in fact, I think one of the things that the president did was to effect maternal health. Does this just add on to what the government is officially doing, or this initiative is working outside that formal government infrastructure?
This Beyond Zero is just something that certainly will be complementing what the government is good doing. In other words, we also know the challenges that we have because women also do not live near clinics, the way we live in this country. And therefore, if you look especially, look out at the pastoral areas and that you have got to cover a distance before you get to a clinic, then this is where it will come very handy.
But before a woman gives birth, once you get pregnant, you are supposed to be checked regularly.
Yes.
Is that what the mobile clinic will do? Because you just don't wait until you go to give birth. You have to be checked and all those things.
The clinical visits.
The visit.
No. Antenatal clinics do happen, and a lot of women actually, a very high percentage of women do go for antenatal clinics. And it's after that, at the time of delivery, that we see a reduced number. But, and simply because of the cost. It was because of the cost. Now it has increased the number of people who are going for antenatal clinics, and then those who are now going to deliver in the clinics.
Well, how far is it gone, you know, in terms of achieving that objective? Obviously, 47 counties, quite many. Which steps have we made? Are we able to, you know, do 5 now?
5
counties.
Counties covered. How many counties have been covered so far
with this
Beyond Zero campaign?
I think she's already going to cover all of them, the 47. The 47
They're
counties.
going to be done, you know, is it gradual or is it going to be done?
I'm sure she's, you know, the First Lady has been meeting many people, trying to raise money.
Yeah.
I mean, we have never seen anything like this. I mean, it's like, it's amazing how First Lady decides that she's going to do marathon. It has never happened before. Using her own physical strength, mind, intelligence, I mean, all her capacities.
She's raised a bit of money from both marathons and other well-wishers who have donated to the campaign. But the question is, within what timeline, maybe they may not be in your knowledge, or it may be, within what timeline does she expect to cover all the 47 counties?
Recently, last week, she received and she showed us the first mobile clinic that she has now received.
Right.
And she's going to start rolling out. And her intention, and again here I said, I'm just complimenting what she's doing and feeling happy about it. Feeling very happy about it, let me tell you, because of the success that women of this country are going to celebrate. She's rolling out this in the next couple of weeks.
How many, okay, let's look at the graphic, paint a graphic picture of how serious the problem is nationally in terms of maternal deaths and child mortality as well, arising from the lack of these facilities to look into this situation. How graphic, how bad is the situation?
When I was in charge of health, the figures used to be like, you know, 549 or so out of 100,000 every year, women who used to die. Now I'm told it has come down drastically. Drastically it has come down. But we don't want to talk about, you know, it has come down. We are saying that let there be no woman who loses her life just when she's going to have a baby.
Yes.
That is what we are talking about. I think this Beyond Zero campaign initiative that the First Lady has started should be owned by all of us women of this country and celebrate it and enjoy it, because it has never happened before.
I mean, somebody would say this. It's just, okay, we must applaud the effort, an initiative that goes out of the norm.
Yes.
But somebody says this is the First Lady. The husband is the head of government.
Yes.
He has the authority to just sign out money to go to take care of that problem. Why should the First Lady be struggling to raise funds to do what the government should be doing?
First, let me say that her husband, you know, His Excellency the President, has already said women will now get free maternity health care in this country, in all the public hospitals. Whether you are going for a cesarean section, whether you are going to deliver in which hospital, it is free. That's the first thing that he did.
Yes.
I mean, I really think that this is the first time we're having a government.
It's a great move.
Yes, it's a great move. Yeah. First time we have a government that cares about women. I mean, other times it was about...
Are you serious when I put you to task about the previous government in which you served, that it didn't look seriously about women under the Kibera administration?
I served, and you do remember, David, how much, when I was the Minister of Health, I was fighting for this kind of services. You know how much. I nearly lost my job that time, saying, surely, let's get especially women to deliver for free. It has happened now. I'm saying thank you. I'm seeing real results. Of the government.
A lot of births in this country are done by traditional birth attendants.
Yes.
Does Beyond Zero recognize them and involve them in the campaign?
No. I just want to ask you, Mutegi, If your wife was going to have a baby and you saw a qualified professional nurse or clinical officer or a doctor
Of
here,
course, I will go for
and
that
there's
one.
a traditional birth attendant here, who will your wife go for?
Of course, the qualified person.
That is what every Kenyan woman then wants. And therefore, that is what
So
we
we want to banish a traditional birth attendant.
we are saying, that you must go for the best. Okay. And the best is somebody who is well trained.
They're going to be jobless soon.
And please, you know, women's lives are so important that you've got to understand they also know what is good.
Okay.
They go to traditional birth attendants because they have
Lack
no
of
alternative.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's look at just, before you get out of the Beyond Zero campaign, what are the, speaking as a mother and as a person who cares about health generally in this country, in the broad government, what other issue affecting women do you think needs next action? And as you answer that, maybe your comment about a motion that has come to the House by Judy Sijeni about availing reproductive health services to teenagers below the age of 18.
First, let me tell you some of the serious issues that affect, health issues that affect women include different cancers, breast cancer, cervical cancer, among others. And therefore, this is something that obviously is affecting women of this country. And at all levels, by the way, even the educated women, even the less educated women. And they get to know about it maybe sometimes when it is very, very late. So those are some of the areas. The other one is, in fact, inability to access the reproductive health care services from where they are. If you look, for instance, today, the kind of population growth that we are getting in this country, and I can say this from when I was the minister in charge of health, is because also the reproductive health care services were not available and are not available. And the women may just want to say, okay, as a woman, I want to have 2, 3, 4 children, yes, and that is it. But she'll continue having children simply because she's not getting the services. Yeah. If the services are available,
family control, you know,
yes,
family planning. Yeah.
Family planning.
Yes.
And this is something that I'm saying every day that we as government must also attend to. So that certainly as soon as a woman has the number of children that she wants to have, then that becomes it. The other worrying, and this has got to be understood very well by all of us, and stop putting our heads in the sand and think that things will sort themselves out. We all know, and I've seen it myself. A mother who is about 40 years old, she's having babies. Her daughter, who is about 25, is having a baby. And the grandchild is also having a baby at the age of 13, 14. What we have to do, is this something that is tenable? It means that children must be encouraged to be in school. So we have got to make sure that there is proper awareness. Children have got to be educated and to be told that they must keep away from sex because they must remain in school. And we also need to understand what happens in other countries, surely. I mean, we do not see 13, 14-year-old children out of school because they are pregnant. Yeah. So who is not taking care of our children? Is it the parents? Is it the teachers? Is it are we having a societal breakdown where we are letting our children not live as children and eventually become
But that is now accepted, that they have a lot of exposure to adult content and environments that encourage them to venture into adult behavior prematurely. And that's why I came to that question of Judy Sijeni's motion in the Senate. Should they be given access to
family planning things? Yeah,
family planning,
contraceptives.
That has become very controversial. What would you say?
Personally, I think we should protect our children. We should educate them. We must take care of them. No parent anywhere will be happy to see her daughter get pregnant at 12, at 13, at 14. No parent. No parent, I can tell you that.
Okay.
So what's the solution?
The solution is to ensure, first of all, we educate them, we protect them, we take care of our children, you know, more
And
or less
avail
know-
preventive
Do you give them
services.
Do you give them the services?
what I'm saying again here, I'm saying that we must protect our children
The question,
so that they are in school.
the question
So
is
that
this.
they remain in
You know,
school.
the question is not answered, I must say. Let me reframe it. I mean, because
I've,
listen,
had your-
how do we
I've
protect?
actually had your question, David.
But you have not answered it,
But
right?
no, I'm just saying,
Yes,
you know, what is it? What is it
that is
that,
leading to that.
no, not so much leading to that. What is it that a young girl, 12 years old, English girl, American girl, will continue going to school, and at her own time, she'll decide on when she'll have a baby. But our children here, at 12, 13, 14,
Have lost the choice
I-
because they are
I'm-
getting into that
I'm
without.
I'm
yes.
just saying, we're living in a global village today. So what is it that we, our Kenyan girl here, from my village, will leave school? And I saw recently, and I was very sad about this, that children, young girls, are coming out of class at 10 o'clock. Instead of going to play with their children, they are going to breastfeed. Come on. What kind of a nation are we really running? You can just imagine. Imagine your own daughter and your daughter, that at 14, at 13.
Agreed. Agreed, yes.
We have got
Prescribe, be the doctor, prescribe a solution. One has been proposed by,
By Sijeni.
legislation, yes.
by Sijeni, she has proposed.
Yes.
But I'm saying, at least she's taking a bold move
Yes.
to say
Yeah.
that if you cannot make sure that
Doesn't
the child
happen.
is protected
Yeah.
and can continue to school, what she has just proposed.
Have a preventive solution.
What she has proposed.
Yes.
So why are we now, all of us, hitting at her instead of saying, we know there is a problem here. This is a problem
Okay.
that our children are exposed to. You know, what then are you saying we need to do? I am not giving, I'm not going with what she's saying.
Can I go,
But
can I
I'm-
go to the Minister of Lands? That subject.
Yeah,
you
it's very
should not answer.
controversial.
It's
I can
very
see. I
controversial.
can see that.
However, let me tell you, we
not willing to venture.
policymakers, but we policymakers,
Yeah.
including you, even you here at the studio, I'm sure you don't
Yes.
want to say this is the right direction.
But somebody has got to make a decision for
Exactly.
the country to move forward.
Exactly. Let me
And it
tell you
falls
just,
in your,
let
in
me
your,
te- let me tell you one thing
cabinet.
that, let me tell you one thing that I have seen.
Yeah.
Look at this controversial issue of using condoms.
Yes.
We know how much we are spending on treatment of people living with AIDS. Yet, we also know that once we find that they are sick, they must be treated. So why don't you prevent them?
Yeah.
Why don't you tell them, use condoms?
Yes.
But we still don't want to tell people that. We're talking about abstinence, which is very good.
ABC.
Being faithful, which is very good. Then we are shy about the condom part.
A,
Then
B,
after that,
A,
it's
B
dead, it's
minus
dead.
C.
Yes.
And then B, you know. So we have got to look at the problems that we have and see how we are going to.
Okay.
So
I guess that's part of an ongoing debate, discussion. Your
Yes.
views are
But
very,
we'll get round it and it will
very,
come.
yeah, very guarded, and
You
I
know.
understand. Now, let's migrate to your home docket.
Okay.
First of all,
Can I first of all say that
Yes.
this Beyond Zero, tomorrow they have organized a medical camp,
Yes.
again to continue educating people and helping people at Kariobangi South
yeah.
Primary School. And therefore people will be treated there, they'll be checked, you know, breast cancer and others. So I also want to say that people should come out there so that
We are in Nairobi,
they are treated.
Kariobangi South,
Kariobangi South. And
major
this-
clinic.
A major medical clinic.
Yeah.
That will also be carried out by professional doctors, clinical officers, and all the health personnel at the Kariobangi South. So people are invited, and it will be for free again.
You got it there, and it's free. So if you're in Nairobi, make your way to Kariobangi South tomorrow for free medical clinic.
That's
checks,
mainly women.
No.
Everybody.
It's for
It's a
everybody.
free
It's for everybody.
medical
Yes,
camp
yes, it is.
tomorrow in Nairobi for diagnosis and
Even
so
people
on
like
with professional experts, medical
People
experts.
expect people
And-
with prostate.
You know, Mutegi. Yes, everybody.
Everybody.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Okay.
men, women, children, and so on. Be
Yes.
there tomorrow.
Yes.
But I hope that this initiative does not, Beyond Zero campaign, that's why I was saying, what is the synergy with the government plan and actions so that it's integrated. Because you remember the hospital that, Mama Lucy Hospital in Umoja, big hospital in Nairobi, that should be like third biggest public hospital in Nairobi, descended into rot, even though it was initiated really big time by the former First Lady. So beyond zero, what guarantees are there that it will not run as long as the First Lady is active, and if she ceases to be, it also goes to zero?
Well, I can see first and foremost great and amazing energy coming from the First Lady. I mean, have you ever seen a First Lady in this country and even in another country who goes marathon 21 kilometers in Nairobi and 42 kilometers in London? And she's going in many other places. In other words, she's creating awareness, she's sensitizing people, she's saying this is the direction to go. So we expect that in the next 10 years, it will have stabilized.
And will go on and outlive her, and it will be a foundation, because she set up a foundation.
Exactly, exactly.
All right, we hope for the best in that regard.
Yes,
now,
let's support her, let's support her, let's support her.
Ministry. Do you miss Ministry of Health?
No. I'm at the moment.
Since this matter seems to be close to your heart.
It's about the women. You have just
the women
part. Just realized I've talked about women because I know what it means.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Now to lands. What is going on there? How far are the land reforms? You've been up and about, shuffling, closing offices, opening, digitizing, with the president in tow. How are things going?
Things have started well. Obviously, a year after I was appointed, it has taken me a whole year to even understand what needed to be done, and listen and share with people who have been working there. And we realized that things were going wrong. They have been going wrong in the Ministry of Land. As you now know, we have Ministry of Land, Housing and Urban Development as one, which of us 5 ministries were amalgamated to become one. But the serious problem is in the land sector, the lands directorate, because this is where we have seen a lot of people just doing nearly everything wrong. I say everything wrong because during the time I've been there, I've seen people come in. You have a title deed for the same piece of land. You have a title deed for the same piece of land, and they're all being issued from within the ministry. And when you go to do search to know whether this is your title deed, this is your piece of land or somebody else's, you get to be told it is yours. And then
the other one comes.
Then the other one comes. Yes. That one has been removed. The card, the green card has been removed, and will also be told is theirs. And in the courts today, we have over 7,000 land cases that are pending there, and every day our officers are going to defend. Yet we also know they have been part of the problem. So we said, what are the first things that we needed to do first? And we started with saying that let us even understand how our registries are. So we closed our registry for 10 days in the month of May, 5th to 19th, and say that we were going to ensure that we reshelve the registry so that we know where files are. Yes. We would not know where a file is. Only a few people knew where files were kept. And this is what we said, let's do this one first. That's where we started. Because next, we are going to digitize. And this came out of a report that we actually got from the World Bank that showed that we take so many days. We used to take 73 days to have a land transaction. From the time you do search, you get your land clearance certificate, you get valuation, you get to transfer. It was taking 73 days, which obviously was making many people not do business with the banks and others. And I also learned that we also have a report from the Kenya Bankers Association that also shows that banks hold up to 1.3 trillion shillings collateral using land. Therefore, looking at that kind of economy, and that you are then not sure that the land, the title deed you are holding is right, I thought it was right for us to put things correct in the ministry so that we can give investor confidence.
I mean, absolutely. There is no doubt, and I have not had anyone question the need for that exercise, reshelving and reorganizing the registry.
Yes.
But why was there controversy with the National Lands Commission? Why was there no concurrence on this? What was the dispute?
In actual fact,
they're trying to go to court.
Yeah, to the extent they went to court to stop you from closing the registry because you're denying them access to services that they were supposed to render. What was the problem here?
my surprise also was that we appeared before the Committee on CIC,
Yes.
Parliament, CIOC. We appeared before them, and we were with CIC, and we were the Attorney General, and we agreed that the right thing for us to do so that we start from a clean slate is to close the registry for 10 days. That was agreed, and we have the minutes on that between us and National Land Commission. But the minute we closed, then they said, we didn't know this was going to be done so soon. I said, but we are going to close on the 5th, up to the 19th, 10 days, 10 working days. So I don't know why that happened with them. However, let me say to you that after we reopened, and that we worked for only 10 days, the benefits that we have gotten is just so huge that we only ask ourselves, why hadn't we done this before?
Okay, agreed. Why do you have a strained relationship with the National Lands Commission? Is this thing about mandate? To the extent that, you know, two units of government governing one issue have to go to seek constitutional interpretation. There is no way you can agree and territorially that this is what we do and this is your mandate. What is the big deal here?
In actual fact, I don't see at all any reason why we cannot work together. However, we clearly have to say what are our objectives, what we want to achieve. Are we looking at the land challenges in the same way, or are we looking at them differently? First, things need to be done in the land sector. First, we needed to say, let us be more transparent so that we even help this far that we have gone with people to help them. There are serious challenges in land everywhere in this country. And therefore, where we started was just this registry, the Nairobi registry, the Central registry, and the Records registry, so that we are not getting everybody coming into the registry taking files. When we reshelved, remember, we were able to find files that had been missing. We could not find them, to a tune of 1.3 million files, which means that you are very lucky to come and get a file if your file, which is supposed to be in rack CD, is actually being put in FG. You will never get it, even if you wanted. And for that reason, you might find somebody knows where it is. However, for them to get that information for you, you what did you say?
You pay.
You said it.
Now, my question is about, you've cleaned Nairobi.
Yes.
But the same replicated all the land registry.
True,
so when are you going there?
True. We have started. In the next, this financial year, we've gotten some money in the budget, and we are going to do the same in 10 registries, while you still be doing others. We'll do Thika, we'll do Kajiado, we'll do Eldoret, we'll do Kisumu, we'll do Mombasa, we'll do...
Which means you do what? Because that you physically did it. You cannot trust those guys who are there to do it. So what will happen? Because here you want to personally intervene and close the office. If you ask the land registrar in Kajiado, for instance, to do that, you'll just do...
They'll be properly supervised, and they'll be shown what they need to do. Recently, 2 weeks ago, I held a meeting with them, with all of them, the registrars, the surveyors, and land adjudication officers, and we have agreed on what we are going to do. This is something that we are not about to let go. We cannot, at this point, drop the ball.
Who will do the audit? That has been done, actually.
By the way, we are doing it every day. We are doing it on a continuous basis. And after this, now we will start digitizing. This work would never have been achieved without the support of this Kibera University and JKU students who are working day and night. They came in, 100 of them in the morning, up to 6 o'clock, 100 of them in the night. So the 10 days that we closed actually worked to about 20 days. We could have done with more days, but we were able to finish it. You know, just that exercise of reshelving, of organizing the registries, we have not digitized this yet. That is where we are going next.
Let's go to politics, although you are not a politician, but you used to be. The president went to Mombasa and gave title deeds.
Yes.
The other day, the court people were there, said those are fake. There have been claims that those titles were not titles. They were given and then returned. What is the situation?
They were never returned.
So what is it? Why are they complaining about them?
Let me tell you, no title deeds are fake in this country. Once you get a title deed signed by the registrar, and they were all signed by the registrars, and they are also in our...
You mean during your government? Because during the other times, they were fake titles.
Well, if it was before, we are looking at that, and if we find that you are holding a fake title, we take it back and we revoke it, because we then don't want it to confuse.
So what is the situation of the cost?
The truth is that at the coast, some of the titles which were issued in the early parts of the government have had challenges, because some have been found not to have been genuine titles.
60,000 titles that we gave in September.
Yes,
His
some are
Excellency
being challenged to have been fraudulent, and there is quite,
they cannot go to the
on the ground, there is quite some heat about those titles.
No, let me tell you what it is. I know all the titles that we issued are all genuine, right titles. They all were effected actually from the headquarters.
Are you saying you have not had any complaints about those titles?
Yes.
That would be strange, because
what
we
is
hear
the
them
noise
everywhere.
I'll tell you the complaint that I've had, and that is that they said, first when we took them, they said, oh, leaders were not involved to know exactly who should be given this title. And we want to check on them to know whether it's the right people who are being given. I mean, every Kenyan is entitled to a title deed and to a piece of land. So it cannot be you, the leader, to decide on you should have a title deed and you should not have a title deed. Simply because these are the poor people. And they are calling every day, let me tell you, David, and to say, bring more titles. In fact, in the next two months.
In fact, let me put it squarely to you what it is that I get from the coast. That a lot of the titles were given to people who they call, watu bara. People who have bought land there. The people who actually, the coastals, the natives of the coastals, of the coast, did not get many titles. That 70% of the titles went out to people who are outsiders who had bought or been allocated land. And the locals have not had much benefit from that issuance of the titles.
How untrue that statement is, I can tell you, that I checked, unless, somebody like you, David, you will call yourself Khadija, or you call yourself Fatuma, or something like this. I checked to see, who. And obviously, you might find somebody who has lived there for a long time. Remember, all the titles that we gave, some of them were settlement schemes where people were being given by government, 2.5 acres. And therefore, if you have been living there, you are given so much. There's not so much for you to pay. And then there are also other land, ancestral land, that is you and your family. We also go and survey that land and give you a title deed, because that is what belongs to you. So the thing that I had, the complaint that I had, was that who decided on who should be given and not the other. And that was coming from the leadership. Actually, the quarrel of the leadership there was, we needed to be involved so that they now get this political mileage. That is what I had.
Well, I guess that is true, because the locals, wanted to be involved because of the same argument that a lot of the titles which are being given out were exclusive of the local people. So they needed to be verified.
Maybe other supporters.
They need to be verified, because anyway, those complaints will still go back to the same leaders about landlessness and the squatter problems there. The same leaders are the ones who have to tackle them. So they needed to be at least consulted or involved in the titling or issues of the titles, so that those problems can be cured.
Let me ask you, David, if I'm a leader in a particular area, in a particular constituency, how do I determine that you will get land and this one will not get land? because you supported me. It cannot
no,
be.
it wouldn't be like that. It would be that they would actually verify or ascertain that indeed that guy or that person owns that title. But this title, this land, we have always known it to belong to this person. How come it's being given to the other person?
Let me tell you
that
how
is the
this
level at which they would be involved, not determining who should be given.
Let me tell you how this was done.
Yeah.
We looked at what the district land committees had recommended.
Yes.
Because this had been done with maybe even the previous leadership, members of parliament,
Right.
some who got elected, re-elected, others who didn't, but they had sat down to say, these are the deserving people. We
Right.
used a list that was sent to us. We did not just wake up and decide these are the people who we are going to give title deeds.
Yeah.
We are using a criteria
Right.
that had come from the ground.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
And by the way, in the next 2 months, I have another 143,000
Yes.
again to give to the coastal area. As you know, in the next 10 months, that's up to June, end of June next year,
Yes.
2015, I'm going to give, we are going to give 1.5 million title deeds.
Right.
And in the next 3 years, 3 million
3
title
million
deeds.
title deeds.
Yes.
That was the target.
Yeah.
It would be a great achievement if that is done.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
you see, instead of people fighting, and they fight because they have never seen this happen.
Yeah.
And they don't know whether they are going to be among those. Imagine, David, that in the last over 50 years, this country, this Minister of Land here, has only issued 5.6 million title deeds. 5.6.
In the last
50 years since we got independence.
Yeah.
Now, in the next 3 years, we are giving 3 million.
Yeah, 2/3 of that. Now,
exactly.
let's look at specific cases. Kibera, I have just seen feedback here that you have held a meeting about Kibera and the issues around the communities that live there. Claims to the land there, Nubians have been claiming that is their land. Others say, no, this is land that doesn't, it's not communal land. What is the situation there?
You know, when you hear community land and the Nubian land in Kibera, when that long time ago, Nubians settled there after
The World War.
After the Second World War,
Yes.
they were given that piece of land. And it was huge. It came from, it's part of Ngei Estate, Julia Ojambo, Kenya Science Teachers College, even this golf here. It was a whole chunk of land.
Yes.
And then it was encroached on until they are just left with about 600,
Yes.
600 acres. So we said it is fair that all those who have encroached this land also let this community, which is unique, called Nubians, get it. And we didn't even give the remaining 600. We only gave 288. And they were satisfied with us. They said, okay, if this is what is left, just give this to us. But people are still saying, don't give it to them. Where is fairness
Yes.
in the distribution and inequality of land?
Yes,
Surely.
yes.
Where is fairness here?
Yeah. All right. So well, just some feedback. Take it before you get in. People, of course, you sending your questions and comments on 22422. Congrats, Angelo. Good answer on land issue. I think you've satisfied somebody there. People saying, you've done a splendid job. And somebody says, I was there last week and I got assisted at the ministry, at the registry, and things are going on. But there's a question, what is the fate of officers whose functions were transferred to the National Land Commission, yet the National Land Commission is employing its own staff? Are they going to lose their jobs?
No, nobody who has been working in the land sector is going to lose their job. First and foremost, if National Land Commission has no use for them, then we'll continue using them, because
Right.
we have got lots of work to do.
Okay.
Yes.
How about somebody says that you need to facilitate the appointment of somebody to sign new land title deeds at the headquarters because there's a backlog already?
Yes, there is a backlog, simply because, again, we are waiting for the decision of the Supreme Court, because that is where, National Land Commission have said we want to know whose duties these are.
Yes.
And therefore, until it is determined,
Yes.
and we have been told it will be determined maybe
before the end of this month, I guess.
Yes, we hope so.
So this cleanup you held at the House, we haven't had hand-rolling, people being taken to court and being charged. what is it? Are you transferring people or you? We haven't seen any blood.
Why do you want to see blood?
Because people have been robbed. If somebody gives me that title and gives Makari a title, that person needs to be hanged.
I can tell you there's a lot that is going on.
But in fact, I want to support Mutegi. Yes. I mean, we want to see heads roll, people charged, the cartels which have swindled people. Even in the case of the concession one, Kibera land in South C, South B, nobody gets prosecuted.
Yes.
Crime seems to be glossed over, and life continues. Have the cartels been dispatched, and are any culprits going to be prosecuted?
First, let me tell you the action that I have been able to take to open up, to be just transparent. That this question where you used to come, you know, the VIPs used to come through the basement, get into the lift, go straight to the office where you want. It's a closed door thing. You sit there, you talk to the officer, you make decisions. I've said no. We now work from an open floor.
Open floor plan.
Open floor plan. That you come in, you don't have to be served by me, you can be served by any officer. And therefore, I'm sure you will not be able to deal with this officer, that officer, the other officer. So that is now clear, which is something also a lot of people have been saying it can be done like this. And I'm saying it can be done like that. What you need is service.
Yes.
What you need is not my office. And you know, we become captives of our, you know, offices. Red carpets have made us feel always we need to be there. And I say, we can serve people from an open floor place. You find me sitting there. You find the PS sitting there. You find the, you know, senior officers sitting there so that you can choose who will serve you.
Yeah.
But your question about why haven't we seen people taken to court? There are many cases that are ongoing. And maybe you media are not, you know, saying these are cases that are ongoing, but there are. And you have also taken out of the offices a lot of people.
Let's to go back to that place where people wanted to demolish when Sonko called the president.
Yes.
What's the fact?
Kevevapi.
Yes.
I saw that land belonged to the Ministry of Agriculture,
yes.
And therefore that was public land. However, still is.
It was. Now they are title owners.
A lot of it has been taken away. And then you go back to our registries and find people removed it and made it private land. But you cannot tell because it's the same thing that you talked about. You have a title deed, he has a title deed, and then this is government land. And the person who bought it, you see, you get someone to come and tell you, I've got this piece of land. You, unsuspecting, can only get this from the Ministry of Land. You come and say, I want to know the status of this land. And the person who is checking for you tells you it is good land. You can buy.
Yeah.
You then go to the bank,
and
actually the bank also comes and checks and finds that this is good land. Then the bank gives you, you know, a loan.
Yeah.
And then eventually you are told this is government land. Now, look at this complication. Who is going to lose now? You did what you need to do. Then it is the government that has made the mistake of first and foremost allowing these crooks to come into the ministry, steal information, steal land, and sell it to you. And this is not the only one. Recently, I went to actually start a huge, you know, housing complex here.
Yeah.
You know, just hear about Yaya Center, around Yaya Center.
Yes.
Only to be told that is also stolen land. And yet they had done their search. I looked at it.
Yeah. Of course, a lot of civil servant housing.
What have I found about that land? It has
sold.
4 titles.
Yeah.
It has 4 owners. 4.
Yeah. Okay.
Overlapping.
Yes.
Yeah.
So how do you sort of the matter?
So now I'm now going back to the history of the land, and I'll be able to say, this is your land and not your land. I'll be able to.
Okay. Now, we are just about to conclude this discussion. The whole notion of land reform, I mean, you know, it was big, good into the Constitution. We created the Land Commission, separate from the ministry, precisely because we wanted to isolate the politics from land issues. Now, there's a lot of perception out here that you, being a political appointee, as a cabinet secretary, your activities are geared towards protecting some of the land sharks owners and not correcting the injustices that have been associated with the land allocations in this country, and that your persistence and your continuing conflict with the National Lands Commission is in the interest of those sharks that want to control the land?
Let me just say here, first and foremost, I have not even been able, I know from where I'm sitting that there are many people who have done the wrong thing where land is concerned. However, I cannot tell you this is one of them until I see these records that now I'm finding. Two, I want to say that each one of us will be judged from what they are doing. And therefore, let people judge National Land Commission for what they are doing and judge the ministry for what we are doing. However, I want to say, as the Cabinet Secretary in charge of land, I've got to provide leadership. And if I did not provide leadership, including to the National Land Commission, I'll be failing this nation. National Land Commission is a commission, but not of the ministry, but not the ministry. There's the ministry in charge of land issues. And I want to work with them so that together we can set very clear agenda on land, our objectives, what we want to achieve. And the other thing that I also want to say is that I do not want, and I will never do, witch hunting. If anybody wants to use land for political purposes, it will not be done during my time.
There are people who have got land which it's believed needs to be surrendered. Because people got allocated land unfairly, some of it public land. These things have been profiled in the Lungu report. They've been transferred into the Justice and Truth Commission report. All these things are there. But we're not seeing any fundamental attack on that problem.
Our constitution talks about land use.
Right.
You know, proper land use. If you have gotten land and you're using it well, however big it is,
yes,
land is a factor of production. Why would I care that you have got a huge chunk of land if you're using it well? If you have it for speculation, that's another story.
If you acquired it wrongly, there will be an issue there.
That is what we need to look at,
yes,
how you acquired it and how you're using it.
Yeah.
Make sure that you're using it for production purposes. If you're using it for speculation, all Kenyans should be aware that that is not acceptable.
Okay.
The report today in the new press that the ICC was asking for about the president land, and it is reported that you have written to the ICC to say that actually the president doesn't have any land at all.
And you know that, and I would like to ask you, you know that after reshelving and reorganizing the registry, of course now I would have to be looking for Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta files.
Yes.
I didn't find any.
You didn't find one.
I didn't find any that is written by his name. You know, I didn't find any.
You know, many Kenyans shocked that
that he said so.
President Uhuru Kenyatta does not own any land in Kenya.
You see,
that
let me tell you why that is. It is possible. Yes. Let me tell you. If today, yes, you, David Makali,
yes, have
land that you are sitting on which belonged to maybe to your father,
yes,
you don't own it.
Yeah. So he owns land by proxy.
No.
Or by institutions, not in his name.
Can you sell your father's land? If the land belongs to your father.
Of course not.
You can't.
That's true.
And therefore, let what belongs to me belong to me. And if I didn't find any, I could not say, oh, but you know, I want to check whether maybe he has a sister, maybe he has a brother. That is not what I was asked.
Right.
I was asked one, and I checked it through. My officers checked it through.
They found.
You know, if I had been told, check who.
Which makes me and Makali rich because we own land.
But now we are, Mutaki is feeling richer because he has a plot.
I have a plot, and you can find it there.
The question finally is this. I mean, part of the perception that the ministry and the government is still not transparent on these land issues is the continuing fights between your ministry and the Land Commission. I can say between the two institutions, the Ministry of Lands is likely to, not the ministry, the Lands Commission is likely to attract more sympathy because it's perceived as having been set up constitutionally to sort out the land problem. Don't you think you have a moral?
Is it?
Well, that is the question. You don't think
Is
so?
it?
They're not sorting out the land problem?
I've asked you a straightforward question, David.
Now,
Is
now
it?
the good thing is that I've loved the opportunity to have you sit here and Swazuri
Has
sit
been
here.
here.
So that we know who is actually doing
Is
the right
it?
thing.
I
But
want to
you-
ask that one question. Is it?
You don't think they are doing a great job?
1 year down the line, they have been in the office.
Yes.
It
They
is
have
perceived you have been
seen.
obstructing.
Yes.
The perception.
I came
that
after.
you have been
You have
I
been
came
obstructing
after.
the performance of the mandate. 1, 2, they have not been
De-
given
de-
budget
de- denied
to
the
facilitate
money, yeah.
their
They have
work.
they have a
Because
huge budget.
this year,
You just told me how they are employing this,
no,
employing the
this
other.
year they asked for 4 billion shillings. They got allocated 400 million shillings.
But Ali,
which
you
is-
start with how much money you
Yeah.
are given. If you are given 1 million shillings, show what you have used it for. Show results. This 1 million you gave me, this is what I've been able to do. So that you can say, I want 10 million. I want 20 million. But if you have been given 1 million and you're not saying this is what I've been able to do,
If that million
Then
is
I'm-
only enough to hire staff and open offices and
Then-
buy stationery,
then show
how
that.
will they ever do anything?
then show that. But in fact, when I see a year
Yes.
after we have all been in office, we are not talking about things that really affect the normal Kenyan. The normal Kenyan is who? That mama who is have been. And let me tell you my case, for instance. My father, as I was growing up, was waiting for a title deed for our own land. And he went to surveyors. He was going to Machakos every single weekend, every end of the month, and he could not get a title for over 50 years. Yes, here in Machakos, where I was born.
Yeah.
Now, I'm saying, I'm giving all those people title deeds. That's what they want. We at our level here can continue talking, National Land Commission, Ministry, but the people there are saying, just give us our title. My own land, give me my title deed. And that's what I'm going to do. Believe you me.
Now,
This
okay.
is going to change
Yeah, but
the land issue in this country
right.
once we have done it.
Yeah, but how about the new legislation, proposed amendments that again seem targeted at weakening the position of lands, the National Land Commission, in this ongoing struggle? Amendments to the law have been taken to the House.
You need to look at exactly what the Constitution is saying the National Land Commission functions are and what the national government functions are. Once you clearly look at the Constitution and know that Constitution is superior to any other law, then you know where we are going. Because you cannot take an act of parliament or legislation
Yeah.
to now...
So in your view, the Lands Commission is overstepping its mandate with regard to your territory as a cabinet secretary.
As far as I'm concerned, you know, issues of land have got to be dealt by the national government and the county government, by the way, and it is in the Constitution.
Right.
The acts also give them what they need to do. What they need to do.
All right,
What
we'll
about
wait
what-
for the
what-
Supreme Court to
What
give
about
us
land
light
boards?
on this.
They used to be land board. Now I think they're constituted by the county or by
County boards.
Yeah, county land board.
County land management boards.
Yes, when are they going to?
They should be done in consultation with the national government and the county governments. But I've seen that they have just been, you know, they have also been, you know, interviewing them and hiring them. And therefore it means if they are hiring and employing people, then they have a budget.
Which means what? If you want now to acquire, get a loan or buy land from the counties, without those board, you can't.
No, you can't, because you're buying direct. You know, counties will give you land to do some certain work. You don't buy.
I'm talking about land board. If I want to go to a bank to borrow money and I need approval from the land board.
We still have the district land committees that have been existing.
So they're still valid.
They're still valid.
Okay.
Yes.
Finally, just to close, I mean, there are people who have been given land, who have bought land or through land companies in Kahawa Sukari, Narok, in Syokimau, everywhere. A lot of people are claiming titles. They're not being given. Is there anything the ministry can do to ensure, say, give a deadline, say, all titles must be issued by 2015 March, so that everybody can process? Because there are litany of problems about, I don't have my title, I was sold land, they're being taken round and round. What do you have to tell to those people?
I'm very happy about this question, David, because it is one of the mind-boggling problems that we are having in the land sector. Because the land buying companies also are to blame for many things that have happened in this country. Because you go and find land, you may have a title for it. Some of them don't even have a title for it, but they sell shares.
Subdivide or sell
They
shares.
subdivide small plots. They
yeah.
sell shares to people, unsuspecting. You know, people. You sold this piece of land. The same piece of land is sold to somebody else, and I've written to many of them, and I'm going to put this also in the Gazette that I need to know all of them, because people are coming and saying, I bought shares in this company and I want my title. I say, but there is the mother title that should be, first of all, returned,
yes,
produced, so that I take that back, and I'm giving the people who have been given these plots, so that now we can issue them with titles. But the land buying companies are not doing that, and there are very many of them, and most of them.
Can you compel them to do that?
Well, I'm trying to tell them. I've written to them. One of them is Mbakasa. I've written to the chairman. There is Githunguri. There is Maboko. There is Boy Committee. There are so many. And then let me tell you, most of them are crooked. They're just crooks, I'm telling you.
Yes.
And they have made people lose a lot of money.
Yeah.
And they are not. I mean, I've seen people come here and they are crying. And it feels very, very bad when I see somebody and says, look at the amount of money I paid. Then somebody else comes and says, actually, they all come and say, I was sold this piece of land. And they come together and say, but this is my piece of land. Right. What am I supposed to do? I tell to them, then you must go to court.
So you're acting on that matter? Action should be expected from the government to compel these people to produce their...
Well, we may not compel them, you know, because we are saying to them, you must clean this act. Put your act.
Why wouldn't you compel them? If they are causing so much misery, it's a land issue. Well, it issues from your ministry because the mother titles are there. The buyers of the land that they subdivided are there. Shouldn't it be necessary to issue ultimatums the way people issue ultimatums to land rates? If you haven't paid your rates up to this period, do so by March.
Well, I've written to them, as I said, and I'm saying that I hope they'll respond. And I'm also warning people themselves, please don't be duped. Don't allow yourself to go and buy any piece of land that you are not very clear and assured, and then you can also fence it and start building on it first and foremost, and then come with the same person so that you can get title before. Come and get title before you can give your money.
All right, I think on that note, thank you very much, Madam Ngilu, for coming to share with us your perspectives on lands and the maternal health care tomorrow. We were to have only 30 minutes for you, but apparently we've taken 1 hour. Sorry about that. Thank you for watching. This has been a Power Breakfast interview on this Friday. Remember tomorrow, Ground Zero, Beyond Zero. Beyond Zero campaign led by the First Lady will be having a major clinic, public clinic in Karubangi South.
And for women to own it.
For women on maternal health care. But it's a general clinic, so you can go there, get examined for any ailment you may have and get assisted. It's free. So remember that. Thank you very much for watching and keep watching Power Breakfast.